Hey there, Latin 2. We're on chapter 40, To Father from Sextus. So let's go over the vocab and the glossary, and then we will get moving. So the first one, awe, awete, that's greetings. Okay. Notice that all greetings are command forms. Hello there is a command, and I believe we covered that last year. And if we ever get together again, then I will cover it again for you. The next one, waleo, walere, walui, walituru. This is to be strong, to be healthy, to be well. When you say goodbye, you would say wale, be well, or in other words, have a good bygone. I feel like there's something in English, but nothing is coming to mind right now. The next one we see is primo. Primo, it means at first. This is adverbial, okay? First of all, at first. Don't just say first, because then you'll start thinking that it's some sort of ordinal thing. Let's see, the next one, nato, natare, natawi, nataturum. This is to swim, which is interesting because so is no, nare, nawi, nawaturum, I think, which also means to swim. So I don't have anything in English. Just be careful that you don't mix this one up with being born, although both involve coming through a bunch of water into the world. Skappa Skopje. This means little boat. Dinghy would also work. And you can tell this is Greek because there's a PH, and also it's a word for boat. Inde. Inde can mean from that moment or from that place. It could work either way. Then you get decilio, decilire, decilui. This is from salio, salire, which is to jump, which turns into salto, saltare, which is to dance, and dancing and jumping are similar to the Romans. And so decilio is to leap down, okay? It's where you get the word sally, actually, to sally forth, is jump out ahead. Audeo, audere, ausus sum. Now what's interesting here is that this is a semi-deponent verb. We'll talk about them, I think, in the next chapter, but for right now, semi-deponent verb. Actually, we might cover them this chapter. I'm not entirely sure. But it will come up soon. This verb is going to look active in the first column. So active in the present, the imperfect, and the future. But then passive, it will look passive, it will still translate active in the perfect, pluperfect, and future perfect. Okay? So audeo, audere, ausus sum, this means to dare. And it will take an infinitive, to dare to do something. Repello, repellera, repuli, repulsum. This is to drive off, to repel, to drive back. We saw this when Marcus took up the stick and drove off the wolf. Then you got at the bottom verusaum, which means true, and it's where we get itawero, thus truly, right? It's adverbial there. And then vera dicera is to speak truths. Vera is an accusative plural there. It's neuter, so to speak truths. Turn the page and you get more words. Iracundia, iracundiae. This means like bad temper, irritability, frustrationness. It's a noun. It's clearly tied to irai, but this is like not anger, but the ability to be angered. Neque quidquam. Okay, so neither nor, no problem. And then we could also add quidquam, anything. So quidam versus quidquam. Imolvero means rather on the contrary, truly otherwise. It's kind of the Roman equivalent of well actually. Ignoro, ignorare, ignoravi, ignoratum. Obviously, this has to do with ignoring or being ignorant, to not know something. It's clearly a Greek word because it has to do with knowing. Also, there's a G and an N next to each other. Cum can mean since. Crudelis is means cruel. This makes sense. Someone who shows crudelitas, which is cruelty. Crudelis is the adjectival form. Cum primum means as soon as. Okay. Poena, poenai. This is a singular, but very rarely do I ever see poena in the singular. It's almost always in the plural. And it means punishment or penalty. It's where we get subpoena from. And it's actually where you get punished from as well. So to pay the penalty is to give the punishments. So poenas dare. Obsecro, obsecrare, obsecravi, obsecratum. This is to beseech. I beg you, I beseech you, and then quam primum. This is as soon as possible. This is quam plus What should be a superlative, but it's not. Disco, discora, didiki, which is to learn, which means that if I learn from the underworld, I could say disco inferno. This is where you get disciple, dedicate, words like that. Didactic. Cupio, cupra, cupiwi, cupitum. I think we saw that one already. To desire. Rapio, rapero, rapui, raptum. I don't know if we ever saw the purest version of this verb, which is this. We just always see it with prepositions add. Eripio, aripio, subripio, or suripio. But yeah, this is where we get the word raptor from, or rapture as well, snatching up. Also, this is where you get the word rape, because it was a word for kidnapping women from another tribe, and those things are related. Arkeso, arkesera, arkesiwi, arkesitum. This is to summon. Don't say to send for, because then you'll think you need to take a dative. To say to summon. Then at the bottom there you see rogatio, rogationis, which is a question. And then you also see 3 semi-deponent verbs, right? And semi-deponents, yeah, pretty much I can explain them to you in the next slide. But audeo, audere, ausus sum is to dare, and it'll take an infinitive. Gaudeo, gaudere, gauisus sum, which is to rejoice. Now, it can mean to be glad. I think you can do that now. But that's, you're kind of seeing what's going on with these. And then soleo, solere, solitus sum. So verbs that have to do with states of being, to be afraid, to be glad, to be accustomed, to be daring, to be bold. A lot of times those are deponent verbs. In English, we talk about action versus non-action verbs, states of being verbs, that kind of thing. I think deponents and semi-deponents is where it runs into. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Then I think that's it as far as, yes, that's it as far as your vocab goes. So what I would like you to do now is read pages 137 to 138, and then do word study 10, exercises 1 through 5. Okay, and by this time you know what to do with those exercises, so I better not see you doing the short shrift. All right, I'm gonna hit the button.